Of Johannesburg, I mentioned a little earlier, gunshots were heard. Also earlier today, specialised police units moving in. Our senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is in the area, joining us now. Aviwe, it's been quite a hectic afternoon. I wonder if you could tell us what's happening at the moment and how volatile is the situation.
As we speak now, Sally, General Zulu is marshalling the special task force here with the tactical response team as well as the mobile operation back into the area where the illegal miners mine. You heard those gunshots ring off just after 5 o'clock, and the special task force actually went in and managed to arrest 8 of the Zama Zamas that were heavily armed at the time. Also managing to get in the the weapons that they were carrying. We're told it's AK-47, but not given the exact number of weapons that were found. But there was a shootout between the team that you see here and the Zama Zamas. So they're going back in now, Sally, to the area where we were a bit earlier on in the afternoon, where we saw the TLBs come in here. And we do know that, of course, they did close off the holes here. But we do know that they then try to move to different areas. So what you're seeing now, especially in the sort of army, the army
the
clothing that they're wearing,
yeah.
Those are the special task force. Yes, those are the special task force going in the very area where the Zama Zamas, if you remember correctly yesterday, this is where they were approaching the police. And they had that casual conversation with the police before they ran off again. So they're going in once more now after 8 of them have been arrested.
All right. So is it safe to say that at the moment illegal mining in that area has ground to a halt? Or have a lot of the Zama Zamas quite literally gone to ground and are perhaps hiding underground now?
Not necessarily hiding underground, Sally. There's been a heavy police contingency all day here, so it's been difficult for them to come out and come back to surface. Hence, we heard those guns ring out a bit earlier on. We're told that it was them being desperate. In fact, one of the special task force gentlemen is telling us not to go this side.
Okay.
And we're told not to shine off the light, Sally, so we're going to have to just move away.
That's fine. That's fine. You do what is necessary. Obviously, you're in the middle of a police operation. I can't help thinking, Aviwe, as you move to a place where you are allowed to speak to us and not interfere in any way with what they're trying to do, it seems quite a different atmosphere to what we saw yesterday, when it seemed pretty casual with the arrival of this specialist police unit. I wonder if you could give us a little bit more detail, if you know specifically what is their mandate. Is it just to round up suspected Zama Zamas? How long are they going to be in the area? And what's their ultimate goal here?
The ultimate goal, Sally, is what we heard from Police Minister Peggy, to put an end completely to the illegal mining that has been terrorizing the community of Riverlea here. It's a special task force that is headed by General Zulu, who is part, the senior officers in the National Department of in SAPS itself. And she has been given a mandate to even close off these holes to ensure that what's been happening here doesn't happen. I mean, we even spoke to the councillors here who told us, just Sally, how, the corruption part of it has been playing in this area. Just not even far from where we are is the Langlagte police station, where we do know, we've been even told by a former councillor of the Rot here. So the mandate is one, just to put an end to all that's been happening here. We do know even from as early as 2010 is when illegal mining has been happening here. What you see now is another van that's going in to where we come from. This is another special task force van that's going in to assist. There's actually been a shootout that happened some 30 or so minutes between the task force as well as these illegal miners, where 8 of them were actually eventually arrested.
I mean, this is astonishing that shots are being fired. And, I mean, how were they defending their position? Were you in sight of what was going on when the shots were fired, Aviwe?
So at that time, we were some 200 meters away. on another area where they were making their way out. Remember, the area that you see here has actually been, all the holes that they actually utilized to go underground have been closed off. So what we were told is that they were trying to make their way out. There were some that were firing shots this side so that they can draw their attention to this side, while some would try and go out on the other side where we were. But they were rounded up eventually, and about 8 of them, in fact 8, the correct number that we have, were eventually caught and arrested after another shootout that happened between the Zama Zamas as well as the specialized task team that's on the ground here, led by General Zulu. So all the holes that they utilize here, in fact, we saw them coming from the very direction where you see the car is now. They came here, and the very spot that we are at now with Percy Spear, my colleague, is where that casual conversation that was happening between the police and the Zama Zamas yesterday was. This is the very spot, but now it looks totally different, Sally. There's been TLBs that have been crisscrossing this area, closing up the holes, and eventually trapping them inside. So this shooting from them, we were told, was a desperate attempt for them to get out, because it is going to get dark now, and they have been trapped inside for the majority of the day. So they have to make their way out back to Zanempilo informal settlements.
It's interesting because we know that sometimes illegal miners stay underground for months at a time. Clearly, this is not that sort of operation, so they can't stay underground for that long from what you're telling me. Just quickly, what is the TLB? Is this the, what does that stand for?
It is those big construction machinery that are actually just able to sweep up rubble and put them inside those holes. So we saw 4 of them in the afternoon just sweeping up the rubble and closing up the holes.
Trying to close off well, I suppose,
you'd assume that even that...
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
Even that, of course, would close the ventilation for these illegal miners.
Yeah, so they're going to have to get out soon. One last quick question. How long is the specialist task force going to stay on the ground? Have they indicated? And I'll tell you why. Because we are used to seeing a show of force, a clean-up, sudden action, and then 2 months later, it's just the same old story. There's an amount of justified cynicism, even when these top specialized forces move in. So how long are they staying in the area? Do you know?
And Deep Sloot would actually be a perfect example of that, where the TRT would go in, Sally, stay for 3 months, then 3 months later, the crime in itself is back to normalcy in places like Deep Sloot. We haven't been given the exact time frame here of how long they're going to be. We were promised when Police Minister Peggy that they'd be on ground within 24 hours from when he made that speech 2 days ago. We're eventually seeing them now today, some 3 hours ago, when they eventually came here. We're not sure then how long the deployment is going to be on the ground here, but the specialized task force, we are told, even later on, they do plan to go into Zanempilo, the informal settlements themselves, to try and nab those that they know stay in particular residential areas in the illegal mining home.
Well, I suppose for tonight, at least, the people of Riverlea and the Zanempilo informal settlement can rest easy knowing that the police are on the ground. Thank you so much, our senior reporter, Aviwe Mtila. Now, do stay with